Welcome in episode number 51 of the St0ner Sports Radio podcast. Joining me once again is my friend and co-host Zach Huffman here on this early Saturday morning, trying to beat the early kickoffs here at 12 Eastern here and getting ready to recap last week's games. We'll give you all the updates on the Michigan situation. We'll even hit the Big 12 tiebreaker news coming through this last week, and then we'll tell you who's drinking all the Kool-Aid. Visit the St0ner Sports Book and let you enjoy your afternoon of football. Zach, how are we doing this early Saturday morning?
Man, we're doing good. We're doing good. I got my coffee. I'm getting ready, getting mentally prepared for this BYU game. Little trap game we're going into, so we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, it should be an interesting game between these two schools. BYU not the powerhouse or above average team that we're used to seeing when these two teams get together, but always a fun time having to wake up at 10 o'clock local time out there in Provo to kick it off against a place that's going to be packed to the brim with Cougar fans as they get one last look, and they're also one of their first looks at this OU team heading into the 2024 season next year with OU leaving, so a lot of opportunity for fans to kind of get a look at OU before they bounce, and I'm sure this place will be ruckus, and it's a beautiful stadium, and everybody's been, just flooding my social media with pictures of the stadium, with the mountains behind it. It's beautiful. But so what's going to be even more beautiful for you, Zach, might be the outcome on the scoreboard, because this BYU team is bad. But let's go in and talk about last week before we start jumping in to this week. Last week was not exactly, a powerhouse week for a lot of big matchups. You had the Georgia Ole Miss game, but this game got out of hand, Zach, and you picked Ole Miss money line, and after one quarter, I was thinking, hey, it's not looking too bad. 14-7 Georgia, you're still in it. And boy, the wheels just came right off the wagon. And at some point, Spencer Sanders made an appearance because Georgia just took care of business 52-17, Zach. What happened to the Rebels and Lane Kiffin?
I mean, I think what happened, nothing in that game was to the fault of Ole Miss. I think what we're realizing and what we saw last week is that Georgia really is just Georgia, right? And they're, as much as I've been hammering that Michigan is what I think is the best team in the country, Georgia just did that to a top 10 team with no Brock Bowers. I mean, that's serious. I don't know if any other team is beating Ole Miss like that in the country. So Georgia coming back to number one in the latest college football playoff poll, I think I have to agree with it. They showed it. Kirby Smart is that guy. They have so many 4 and 5 stars, it doesn't matter who's injured. I thought that Brock Bowers going down was going to hurt their national championship chances, but I think that they very likely could three-peat.
Yeah, I mean they looked really, really good. Brock coming back this week. A lot of people didn't think he'd be coming back at all this season, but he'll be playing today.
So I didn't know he was playing today.
Yeah, that's big for him. Yeah, he's playing today.
Oh no!
Yeah, so
lock him up for the Natty. God damn it.
So RIP to Tennessee. You're not winning today. It was definitely impressive. I think I agree. I think, after last week, and the thing is I didn't really think Ole Miss was that good. But I didn't think they were going to get blown out the way they did. I thought, maybe a 14-point loss, maybe 10 points at the least, but I didn't think they were going to pull this thing off. You had a lot more faith than I did just because, like you said, everything seemed to be lining up to that point where it was like, this is kind of one of those situations where, Ole Miss is coming in with all the confidence in the world, and, here we are sitting here talking about them losing by 35 points. I mean, that's just a rough situation. Who else has a rough situation, Zach? The Penn State Nittany Lions. I mean, they just can't beat the big boys. 24-15, Michigan gets a 9-point win over the Nittany Lions, and that's not even really as close as that game was. The Nittany Lions score in the last 2 minutes to try to make it look a little bit more serviceable than it was. And they just kind of are who they thought they were. I mean, Drew Alar throws for 70 yards, but the thing is JJ McCarthy only threw for 60. Michigan ran the ball like 49 times or something crazy, like OU did against SMU earlier this season. They just kept handing it off to Blake Corum, handing it off to Edwards, and the Nittany Lions couldn't stop it. And here we are talking about another Penn State team who, preseason top 10 stays in that top 10 ranking, but just can't even compete with the likes of Ohio State and Michigan. And a lot of Penn State fans are saying we're just never going to be that team. Do you buy into their, black pillness, especially with the
Um,
expansion with all these new teams coming in?
I think with the way that the schedule is going to work out in the Big Ten, I don't think they're going to have to play a big team every year. So there's a chance that they could get over the hump to that 11 wins that they haven't really ever gotten to. Um, so I would say I think I don't know. I think I agree with it if we're talking about the schedule as it is, that Penn State's never going to really win. I don't know if Franklin's that guy. Um, they paid him like he's that guy. Um, he seems to, like all signs point to him being that guy, except for the fact that he can't ever beat Michigan or Ohio State. I mean, the Ohio State game in particular, that was dreadful for Penn State. They looked terrible, and they didn't look much better against Michigan. So I don't. I will say that I think Michigan didn't look as good as they should have. The offense should have put up a lot more than 15 points. Isn't that what it was? Or 24 to 15,
24,
right?
yeah, 24-15 was the final, yeah.
They should have put up more than 24. They should have won by more than 9 points against a team that was struggling to even keep the ball in their possession. So I think that's probably why the committee put Michigan number three. Um, but yeah, I think I agree with the fact that I don't think Penn State gets over the hump anytime soon. I think we're looking at, as much as I hate to say it, and not nearly as extreme as this situation, we're looking at a Jimbo Fisher situation here.
Yeah, you're gonna have probably to buy him out. I kind of agree,
Yeah,
but I mean, especially with Oregon coming in, UCLA and USC, I mean, it doesn't get any
yeah,
easier because you're gonna have to play at least one of these five teams, right? I mean, it's gonna
yeah.
happen, and I think
Different
that
play style though.
yeah,
Different play style when
different
you're
play
looking at those
style.
Pac-12 schools
Yeah,
coming in, than
yeah.
versus the hard nosed Michigan, right?
Yeah, but I just don't know if it matters. I mean, let's just take this team in particular, right? Like, let's say Oregon is in the Big Ten, they probably smash Penn State, right? I mean, even USC probably smashes Penn State because Penn State's offense is just so bad. I don't think their
Yeah,
defense is bad, but I think their offense is so anemic, Zach. I mean, there's just no way you could keep up with Caleb Williams even if he's playing mid. I mean, I know USC's defense is bad, but Drew Alara is bad. I mean, he's terrible. I mean, I just don't know what they see in this guy. I mean, some of these passes he's throwing, I mean, on that fourth down play, when they're only down at the time by, I believe it was 17-9. You're down by 8. You have a chance to go down, score, get a 2-point conversion, and make this a ball game. And it's 4th and 8, and he just throws the ball into the middle of just a green grass area where there's no one within 10 yards in a Michigan or Penn State jersey, and people are going, "That's not the kind of thing you can have on that type of down from a quarterback that's supposed to be like your guy and he's been in the system multiple years and you're coming out of a timeout." Like, those are the things you can't have, is that level of miscommunication on big plays like that. And after that happened,
yeah,
they get the ball on Penn State's side of the 50 and just roll in to make it 24-9. And then Penn State scores that touchdown and doesn't get the 2-point conversion, and the onside kick goes wham wham, and that was it. um
yep,
and other games that kind of went on over the weekend last week, Florida State escaped against Miami. We knew this game was going to be one of those games that was going to be kind of a trap game for the Seminoles. Had a chance of getting ugly, and they escaped with a 7-point win over Miami. I mean, are we getting to this point with the Seminoles where, like, yes, like, my pick looks good, but do you think their matchup with whoever they play in college football playoff, if they get there, they're just going to get smoked? I just have this feeling that they are kind of the Notre Dame of this season, where it's like, yeah, you're having a good year, you're skating by some teams, but when it comes to the big boy game, you're gonna get smoked. I'm not talking
I would
about
say
this
we're
year's
looking
Notre
more like
Dame,
Lincoln
but
Riley OU
yeah, I
here
mean,
with
okay,
Florida
okay,
State, right?
okay, yeah,
Like they're good enough to win their conference every year. That's pretty easy. ACC's weak. That's why. Um, Similar to how OU was 2015, 2021, 2022, right? It's getting to the big game, you're gonna lose by 50. And I think that's what we're gonna see with Florida State. One, I'd like to point out how nice my Miami plus 14 pick was. And that's I think Florida State, they have all of the capabilities to be great. They have all of the capabilities to go into the playoff ranked number two. Um, but the problem is when they have to play number four Bama, it's gonna it's
yeah,
I think Bama's
yeah,
gonna smack the shit out of them, and I hate to I hate to be so pessimistic about that team, but I just before the season I said this, and I'm kind of eating my words right now, but I think I'm gonna be right come playoff time. Florida State just doesn't have it. They just don't have it.
yeah. No, you're right.
Norvell just doesn't have it yet. He's not going to be able to outcoach these guys. He's not outcoaching Saban. He's not outcoaching Kirby Smart. He's not outcoaching Harbaugh or what Sharon Moore.
It'll be
He's not
Harbaugh because
outcoaching
he'll
them.
be back for the playoff, so it'll be Harbaugh.
Well, as
Yeah.
far as we know,
Yeah, well, I mean, the NCAA hasn't disciplined anybody. It's just Michigan or the Big Ten that did. So I mean, like,
yeah.
so I mean, we'll see how that
Well,
unfurls. We'll touch on that here in a minute.
yeah.
Um, Another game that happened that I was kind of shocked. No points in the fourth quarter between this game. Washington escapes Utah 35-28, and
Yeah.
no Cam Rising. We thought this was going to be one of those where Washington kind of just piled on them, but I mean, Utah is scrappy, man. They are a scrappy bunch. And to make this game a 7 point game and then nobody scores in the fourth quarter, nobody, and Washington doesn't, and Utah doesn't. I mean, I think Washington's overrated. Obviously coming from a biased, point of view from an Oregon fan, I think that they just don't have it. Because if you did,
Mhm.
you take care of business against this team. But then again, here's my other side of that is Barnes has been the quarterback for so long. I think he's getting comfortable. You know what I'm saying? He's been the quarterback for so long. We thought, oh, he'll be the quarterback maybe 3 or 4 weeks, and then we'll see Cam. We're probably never going to see him this season. I just think he's just not going to play at all. And I think that Barnes is getting comfortable, and the more time you spend in that situation, the more the more XP you get. The better you're going to, perform down the long haul. And I think that's what we're seeing with Utah. So I mean, Washington escapes. I mean, what were your takeaways from Michael Penix? 332, 2 touchdowns, decent game. But they allow 5 catches and 145 receiving yards from Utah's wide receiver. I mean, I don't know how you.
Yeah. The way that I see it exactly the way you do, and I'm not coming from a biased perspective because I hate the Big 12 or the Pac-12 equally. Um, I'd say I probably hate Oregon even more if we're really
That's
talking
yeah.
about it.
I believe
But
it.
um, I'm with you here. I think Washington's fraudulent. I think that they got lucky with their Oregon win. I mean, a missed field goal. Come on,
Yeah.
like they escaped
Hmm.
Oregon. They escaped Oregon, and I think that in the scenario which Oregon wins that game, we're talking about Washington as being like outside the top 10.
Yeah.
Um, I think Oregon's going to beat them in the Pac-12 game. I really do at this point because what I've seen out of Oregon is that they played a terrible game against Washington in Seattle. Like that's and they should have won the game if we're being
Yeah.
realistic. They should have won that game. So I think that Oregon's probably going to win in the Pac-12 championship. I think Washington's going to get pushed out of the playoff. Michael Penix is going to get pushed out of the Heisman race. Um, the way that things are going right now, I don't see I think it's very, I would say, one of the more likely scenarios that we end up with Oregon in the playoff and Bo Nix as the Heisman. I think that's a serious conversation that has to happen now because we all know what's going to happen when Oregon gets the rematch.
Yeah. I
So,
agree. I mean, I think, and if we lose that game, I mean, it'll be because we play like garbage. I mean, and the thing
it will.
is I think that that's the only way we lose that football game is if we turn it over a ton. I think if we turn the ball over more than 3 times, and sure, I mean, you could argue we did with all those fourth downs we went on, but I'm saying like interceptions. I'm saying like fumbles. I mean, those fourth downs. I mean, go for them, right? I mean, they weren't terrible decisions. The only one, like I said, I disagreed with was the one before half. I was like, just take the points, go into the locker room. No need to have Bo Nix roll out and try to find somebody, as time is expiring before halftime. And if they kick that field goal, we're talking about probably an overtime victory for Oregon. I mean, if everything would have played out exactly the way it did the rest of the way.
I mean, you
Um,
kick that field goal and then you don't miss that other one. You win by 3. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, and even if you miss it, I mean, I felt good
yeah.
going into overtime because the momentum had shifted so drastically in that second half. I just didn't feel like Washington was up to the task of heading into extra innings there with my Ducks. But I think it'll be interesting to see kind of down the stretch. I mean, I'm not really out of the woods here. I mean, Oregon State could come and bite us. They did it last year with a way less talented team. I don't like that game. I like the fact we're at home. I think that helps.
Well,
Um,
let's talk about a game that's going to happen today since it's related to that. Isn't
okay.
Oregon State and Washington today?
Correct. I will be doing that game at 6:30 on twitch.tv/ST0NERGAMER. We'll be doing play-by-play for Washington State and Oregon State, or Washington and Oregon State. Yeah, that'll be a
Yeah,
good one. So we'll kind of get a measuring stick kind of about kind of where those teams are. Um,
I think Oregon State might give you something here.
I hope so. I mean, I'd like it to be competitive. They've kind of had an up and down season as well. But they're decent. They're a decent team. They put up 62 points last week against Stanford, who's terrible. I
The
think
good
that
momentum.
yeah, it gives you confidence. DJ throws for 240 yards and 2 touchdowns. Looks serviceable. Your running back runs for 140 and 4 touchdowns. I mean, I think that was kind of the the takeaway there was the great play of Damian Martinez. I think he just kind of did his thing. Let's talk about Texas though, right? Since Texas escapes
Yeah,
TCU, TCU has a 20-point fourth quarter. They had a shot here,
ooh, that was electric
and
to watch that game.
it was a dandy. I mean, it was a dandy of a game. And I thought that this was. I mean, I said it. I said I think Texas could lose to TCU and Texas Tech, and TCU gave them a fight. The only game you got left to worry about is that Texas Tech game, and I
Hmm.
think Texas Tech is in a good spot as well, coming off their win against Kansas.
Let's
So,
let's slow down. Let's slow down.
okay.
There is a game today that Texas very well might lose.
I mean, you could say that. I just don't. I mean, Iowa State's okay. I just don't know how much I believe in
Iowa
this.
State's better than TCU.
Well, they play better than TCU though. That's the thing. Like I feel like TCU plays up to their competition, right? I feel
Well, they
like
played terrible in that last possession.
yeah, yeah,
TCU had a chance to win the game.
yeah. They did.
We'll
They
see.
they
I think we'll see this game. Iowa State either wins by a touchdown or it goes into overtime, but we'll talk about that
Okay,
later.
yeah.
But
But no, you're right. That's something to talk about. We'll touch on that for sure. But bottom line is Texas got super lucky this
yeah,
last week, and they should be thanking their lucky stars that they got to escape Fort Worth with a W for the
I was
latter.
actually watching that game with a Texas fan, and
Oof, I bet he was.
that
I
guy,
bet he was sweating.
he was saying a lot about this Texas team and how they're not living up to expectations. He had a lot to say about Quinn. Mm,
Mm,
wasn't good.
yeah.
Wasn't good. I'm not
Yeah.
going to blast him on on the YouTube like that, but it was not good. Let's just say Texas fans are, from what my experience, Texas fans are not very happy right now.
Yeah, and I can understand that underperforming, to say the least. But you know who also got smashed? The Tennessee Volunteers got smashed, Zach. 36 to
Yeah, they
7.
did.
You lose to Missouri, and
We
I
stand
mean,
on business, Josh.
well, yeah. I mean, and here's the thing. I mean, Missouri is looking more and more like a team that is a lot better than we thought they were going to be. I mean, look, our preseason pick for Missouri was like a 4-win season, and they have been way better than anybody could
They're
have
going to win
expected.
10.
They're probably gonna win 10 games. Yeah, I mean, and we're gonna get cooked on Twitter because we were running our
Hey,
mouths, and you know what, deservedly so. Good for them.
yeah.
You play to win the game, and you know what, Missouri, they won the games they needed to win to propel their season to where it is now. So props to them. Not really much
If
to take
only
away.
they had beaten Florida, man.
That's a rough
They could
one.
be in the SEC champ game if they had beaten Florida.
Yeah, and that's a and And we LOL'd about that loss too, because I mean, just Graham Mertz in that offense is just so anemic. It was just hilarious to have.
I think after that loss, I think I remember saying they're going to lose the next 5 games.
Well, might be eating crow on that one, but I'm eating it with you, brother. We're having a crow fest over here, um, on that one. Another thing. RIP to the Colorado bet, right? Like Colorado,
Yeah, jeez.
they lose by 3 to Arizona last
Unlucky
week.
scenario
And
there.
yeah, had a chance last week to get win number 5 and set yourself up for last night. And Washington State just thumped them after Shadir Sanders left with an injury in the first quarter. It was just no good. They get
Did you
absolutely
see that one?
torched.
You see that the third stringer
Threw
threw the
the
ball off
pass,
the
caught
helmet,
it, and
caught
then
it, and then
throws a
threw a
pick.
pick.
Like oh, I was like it's cinema, but it's like a horror movie for me. I mean, well,
It
at that
was
point
so fun.
the game was over at that point, anyways. But I mean, it was just like like you got. I mean,
Oh, that's
that's just the
great.
way it goes. I mean, so many we're probably looking at a 4-win year. For Colorado, which hey, better than 3.5, which was the line coming in. But you had a chance to beat Stanford. You had a chance to beat Arizona. You even had a chance to beat USC at one point this year. You
Yeah,
get
what happened after that USC game? That's what it kind of
it,
feels like. Is that they gave it all, they gave it their all against USC, and then all of a sudden they just go back to old Colorado.
yeah,
I
it
don't know.
just. I mean, but the thing is I think this is. I mean, you take those one possession losses, right? And it kind of seems like an OU situation from last year, right? These one possession losses, you can easily flip those. And I think that Dion's done a great job in setting up his recruiting class for next year to come in and really help him out and change some of those one possession outcomes in favor of Colorado. And I think that's great for the Big 12 because coming into the Big 12 next year, I mean, they're going to be in a spot where they could be a top 3 or 4 team in the Big 12 next year if that recruiting
Yeah,
class is as good as advertised. And if the players come back that need to come back, which I think they will, because I don't know if Travis Hunter's going to leave. I don't think he is. I think he's going to probably come back. I think Sanders comes back because I don't think their draft grades are as good as people think. Now, Travis Hunter might leave if his draft grade is high enough, but I just think that his performance kind of coincided with Shadir Sanders, where it just kind of had this downward trajectory where it was like he's impressive, definitely one of the best athletes I've seen on a college football field in a while. I just think being on a bad team like that, but being on a talented team, having a talented quarterback, a 4-star guy throwing to you who's decent. I don't hate Shadir Sanders. I just think his offensive line is trash, and I think that really sucks because it doesn't give him time to get open. And you've seen so many games Colorado's played where there's just no separation between wide receivers and defensive backs, so they just don't have those guys. They got one guy, and it's Travis Hunter, and the rest of them are
yeah,
just dudes. I mean, I like them, but they're just not special, and they're not good enough to separate themselves from those DBs and let Sanders have any time to do it. Because when he has tons of
yeah,
time, he's got tons of time because nobody's effing open. I mean, and that's and then he just ends up trying to take off for 2 or 3 yards, and it's like, it's like time to punt again. It's just frustrating from a better standpoint, probably a fan standpoint as well, with the way some of those games had panned out. But I think a lot of people are looking at this 1-6 Pac-12 record and going, "Wow, that's really bad." But you got to think about the fact that again, this is a team primarily 89% transfers. This is a team that that Dion put together and got rid of, cut the fat off of it, and knew that this was going to be a challenge. And it just hasn't come together the way he'd probably hoped. I think he knew the defense was going to be garbage. I just think he was hoping his offense would play a lot better than it did and would keep him in a lot more of these games because their output offensively has not been discouraging. It's just they have not been able to get the job done when it matters.
yeah,
And I think that those first 3 games, yeah, I bought into the hype. I thought, this is an easy 7-win team. You're 3-0. You beat TCU. You beat Nebraska. You beat Colorado State. You look good. I thought that was gonna be. I thought this 7-win bet I had was gonna be a lock.
yeah. I
And
mean, I have to agree with you there.
and I think
I
really,
mean, I think everyone thought that. The problem is the trenches, and everybody knew it's the trenches.
yeah.
I
And
think coming in next year, they should be a lot better, especially on the offensive line. The D line, and you can get away with it right now. Your secondary is good enough.
mhm,
O line, you got to get those. You got to help those guys,
yeah,
be able to get open. You got probably Travis Hunter coming back, and then you got what is his name, Weaver, the true
yeah,
freshman.
Xavier Weaver, yeah, he'll be
He's
back.
he's good.
Is
He'll
Jimmy
be in
Horn
there.
Jr. gonna be back? That's
I have no idea.
I don't know
I
if
don't know
he's
what
a
year he
junior or a
is.
senior. I don't know, but I think he might be coming back. I mean, he might be a senior. But here's the other thing, Zach, is they had no running game all season. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
I mean, they have a worse running game than OU, and that's saying something because I
Well,
mean,
that's the
like,
O line though.
yeah,
That's
I
not the
mean,
running backs.
I mean, Dylan Edwards is good.
Yeah.
I think not having any holes to run through is definitely the problem, and he's not a speed get around the corner guy. He's the in between the tackles guy, which is worse because if you can't block him
Mhm.
with that, then you're screwed. But anyway, so they lose to uh, to Arizona on a last second field goal. Arizona beats them in Boulder. Rough loss there, but you know Arizona continues to look serviceable. Here is a game that was just absolutely fantastic. North Carolina in overtime beats Duke 47-45. I had North Carolina minus 13 for my picks last week. I'll own it. Bad pick. But, you know, I just didn't see Duke being able to really hang with them. And sure enough, I mean, it came down to Duke failing on a 2 point conversion to seal the win for North Carolina. I mean, this North Carolina team is good, but I mean, again, the defense is just oof.
These are football schools, is what we're realizing. And here's the thing: I don't know if you can take the. Well, I think Duke is good. I've been saying this. I think Duke is a good football team.
Yeah,
Um, but they were obviously kind of amped up. This is a rivalry. This is a big rivalry. This is North Carolina going at it. Um, I think it's kind of like the OU Texas situation. You can't ever really take the score at face value, right? You got to look at the fact that it's a rivalry. Doesn't matter which team is better. I mean, I mean, geez, what was that one year that the UT coach? I can't remember his name. The bad one.
Tom Herman.
No, no, no. One
Oh,
before. It
Charlie
was like,
Strong.
yeah, strong. Like when he beat OU in the rivalry game when we were ranked like number three.
Oh yeah,
Like,
yeah.
like you can't take these things seriously. And I think that um, Duke looked good. Um, North Carolina's the better football team, and they came out on top because of it. But I don't raise Duke or like lower North Carolina in my rankings at all
No,
after this
no,
game.
no. It was
Like
just
they're in the exact same spot.
yeah, it was just a fun game. It was just a
Yeah,
fun game,
great game.
and and I think that that's you know, and that's what rivalries are for. And that kind of wraps up kind of last week. Like I said, not a lot of like big time games. I mean, if you want to say Oregon USC was a big time game, you can, but I think Oregon was in control of that game from the jump. I don't
That was a
really
great game to watch.
I don't think that I don't think my Ducks were really ever in trouble with that game. I mean, you know, unfortunately, I mean, Bo Nix 412 yards, 4 touchdowns. I mean, I'm smelling that Heisman coming to
Yeah, Heisman's
Eugene,
on his way, man.
and I mean, and I'm not surprised that the betting lines, you know, he jumped Penix. I'm not surprised because Penix, again, those games have been close against teams that shouldn't be close against, and B, he's just not putting up those same kind of numbers that he has been, and I think that's not necessarily a bad thing because you're still putting up, you know, over 300 yards a game for the most part. But I think that it's more of the fact that they're not winning as a unit impressively enough for the voters to be like, oh, that's fantastic.
I gotta check the Heisman odds.
Oh, I got him right here.
Is it okay? So it's Nix. It's Bo
Yeah,
Nix.
yeah, right now it is, yes.
So let's see. It's
It's right now it's
Nix,
Bo Nix.
Penix,
No,
Daniels.
no, Daniels is second right now.
Oh, I had the one I'm looking at was from like 14 hours ago, and it had Penix number two and Daniels number three, and then it has Marvin Harrison number four.
Yeah, I'm looking at
No
DraftKings.
JJ McCarthy.
I've got DraftKings pulled up right now. It's got Nix at plus 110, Jaden Daniels at plus 320, Michael Penix at plus 380, Marvin Harrison Jr. at plus 475, and then Carson Beck followed by Milrow. I mean, JJ McCarthy is plus 10,000 right now.
That's.
To I
I
mean
mean, I think it has to do with the stealing, the sign stealing
yeah,
stuff.
he's tied with Dylan Gabriel right now as odds to win the Heisman. Um, so that's, you know, that's interesting. Ollie Gordon at plus 20,000. No surprise there.
Well, that's not happening anymore.
Yeah, that's not happening anymore.
You have 9 yards in the first half against UCF. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
you're not in that conversation anymore.
that was a disastrous game. I was very
Yeah.
upset that Oklahoma State decided to crap the bed there.
Oh, have we talked about that game? Maybe we should talk about that game real quick,
Yeah,
just
I
to
mean,
reopen some wounds.
yeah, I mean, look, I mean,
I
this
mean, because
was,
that hurt me as an OU fan, thinking, "Wow, we lost to this team.
yeah,
We lost to this team that lost by 42 to fucking UCF." I mean, I know we only beat them by 2, but at
yeah,
least we beat them by 2
yeah.
instead of only scoring 3 points.
I mean,
Like, that's terrible.
well, and the thing is, at halftime, I mean, you're down 24-0, and then you come
Yeah,
out of the third quarter, you kick your field goal, it's 24-3, and then what does UCF do? The ensuing possession, they fumble it inside their own 30. You get the
yeah.
football, and then what do? You throw a pick 2 plays later. I mean, Alan Bowman played like fucking garbage,
I
and
really thought there was about to be a goose egg on that one. I really did.
I mean,
They got lucky.
I mean, and I get the monsoon rain, I get all that stuff, but it's like UCF had
Mhm.
to deal with it too, and they don't play in that shit all the time. I mean, they don't. I
Yeah,
mean, I know that it's like, oh, Florida's such a rain every afternoon kind of state, like they're probably used to it. No, this was monsoon rain. I think it was the space jerseys. I think the space jerseys just kind of propelled UCF. They were beautiful.
yeah, they were.
I can't deny it. And I just think that Oklahoma State, for like the fourth year in a row, they beat a top ranked team and then they lose in just absolute devastating fashion the week afterwards. I mean, literally, it's like the fourth year in a row they've done that, where they've beaten a really, really good team and then come out and just the next week. It's just terrible. I don't know what it is about that, but I think it was kind of the same thing with, like what we're talking about with Colorado. They put so much effort into, like, that was their Super Bowl, and now it's like, oh, now we
Yeah,
can just relax our assholes.
it's
It's like
Gundy.
no, and yeah, and
It's
Gundy,
Gundy.
yeah, it's Gundy,
I
and
think Gundy kind of thought about it. He got his like fourth Bedlam win or whatever in like 27 years or whatever the hell he's been
yeah,
there.
he's like, I can die
And
now. Yeah,
yeah, he's like, I won the last Bedlam. I can die now. Like,
yeah,
I
yeah.
wouldn't be surprised if he's like done after this season. I really wouldn't. Like,
Well,
his whole existence has been trying to beat OU. Let's not
yeah,
like sugarcoat it. I
yeah.
mean,
Well, in Texas, and they ended up owning Texas in the last decade and a half.
yeah, they
So I mean,
have. They've won like 7 out of the last 10.
yeah, he got that job done. So I can, and you know what? I'll never shit on him for that because I hate Texas more than I hate probably OU or any other team. I just don't
Yeah.
like Texas. I mean, I never liked them.
See, for me, as an OU fan, obviously I hate Texas the most. Oklahoma State, it's like I hate them, but they're kind of like little brother, you know. It's
Yeah,
like if we're not winning, I would love to see them win. I have no
yeah.
problem
Well,
with them
and
winning as long as it's not against OU.
yeah, and like obviously this year, it's like especially when you lose to them, it's like I'd like to see them be good so I can say we lost to a good team. But like after
Yeah, but we
last week,
didn't.
it's
We
like
lost to a
ooh,
bad team.
ooh, ooh, it was ugly. Uh,
Same with I don't know, maybe the same with Kansas is like mid, honestly. So
Yeah, and Kansas losing to Tech doesn't look great either because Tech isn't fantastic. So both your
yeah,
losses are looking like woof. So I mean
yeah.
that's not great. But speaking of woof, let's get into this week. We got some games to run down here. Let's start off with your game. I like your game starting off with. This is early OU -25 right now on the big old line here on ESPN. What do they got over here? You got -25 on the DraftKings Arenos. How we feeling? Going into Provo here. I mean, this is one of those things where the best thing BYU's got on their offense is their running back. 104 carries, 494 yards on the season, and 4 touchdowns. Not exactly what you would call a great running back, but that's their star of their offense, and that's more. That's hey. I'm just letting you know that's more yards than any OU back has this season. So I mean, like um,
Yeah.
that's the other thing you got to take. What do you think? You think this 25-point line is a little high, or you think it's right on the money here?
25 feels high. It really, really does. I'm gonna take it, but
Yeah,
it
I'm gonna
feels
take it.
high.
I mean, yeah, no, you're not wrong.
I'm gonna take it because
Yeah,
I got to ride with my boys. But
yeah,
um, I, ugh, I, the BYU running back is probably gonna have 100 yards. Um, I think Sawchuk has 150. I think Sawchuk breakout game. Um, he kind of had a little bit of one last week. He played really well. He broke off for a big one that I really liked. That defense is not great at BYU, but they're not terrible. Their offense is obviously terrible, which is why the spread is what it is. So I guess they're
yeah,
they're hoping that OU is gonna kind of run away with it
yeah. The
on
total
offense.
is not
So
high.
I
Yeah, the total is not high. 57.5. So they're expecting like a 25 to. I mean, like 35-14, something like that. 35
Yeah, I think 35-14 would be 51.
35-17, thirty-five
So,
seventeen. Yeah, they're looking at.
yeah, they're looking at 35-17. That's probably what they're looking at.
Yeah, so I mean, and that's in that, you'll take that. I think that's, I think being on the road and waking up as early as they're waking up and stuff like
Well,
that. I mean,
actually, it sounds like
that's
they'd be taking, if it's a
that's
25-point
52,
spread, it'd
so
be like,
35 to
no, it'd
24.
be like 42-10. No, it'd probably be like 45-7.
Yeah, some yeah, they're not thinking BYU is going to score at all, which I think
Yeah.
BYU might surprise you and kind of jump out offensively just because they tend to do that against better teams.
Yeah, they're gonna break off for one. That's
Yeah,
just
no,
facts.
that's
Like
just
BYU,
facts.
they're
Yeah.
gonna they're gonna break off. Their running back is gonna break off for one 60-yarder. Like it's gonna happen. OU gets caught with their pants down a lot on those big plays.
Hmm.
Um, we'll see.
Yeah. So I mean,
But I think OU should win the game
yeah,
by 30.
yeah. I'm feeling that the line is pretty on spot. My Ducks take on Arizona State this weekend. That
Mm-hmm.
line is 24.5 against the Sun Devils. This
Hmm.
game is in Arizona. It's on the road. And the thing is I kind of like where this line is as well. I think that Arizona State has a very serviceable offense. I think our defense is not He-Man best defense in the Pac-12 at all. I think that we're going to allow some points to happen, and yeah, the total is less than the OU BYU game because I think this game is actually going to be a little bit more competitive. I think a 20-point win would be a good win for Oregon. I think Arizona State is a lot better than a lot of people give them credit for. I just think that they just injuries have plagued them. Their quarterback's been a carousel all season long between Drew Pine and Rashad and whoever the hell else they're throwing out there. I mean, at this point, I just don't even know who their quarterback is because they've just gone through so many. Um, but I think that line's probably on spot. I mean, your thoughts?
I think Oregon should win the game by at least 27. I mean, I like the 20. The 20 is not bad. I think the 24 line is spot on, like you said.
Yeah,
If Oregon, my thing is with Arizona State, if Oregon doesn't win by at least 3 touchdowns, then they're not putting themselves in a position to get that number 4 rank when it comes down to it, right?
yeah. This is about style
Um,
points now. This is about style points.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's about style points, and you got to win you got to win big. If you want to get into that top 4, you're gonna have to win big against teams like Arizona State. So I think Oregon takes care of business. I think they win by 27.
Okay. Yeah. I mean,
If I were you, I would
I'll
take
take
that
it.
line.
Yeah, I'll take it. I'm not afraid to take. I'm not afraid to believe in my boys to take care of business. Um,
Yeah, I think
on
they'll
the
take
road.
care of it tonight.
Um, let's see. Oklahoma State and Houston. This game down in Houston. Oklahoma State a 6.5 point favorite here. Um, look, I mean, this is going to come down to OSU's offense, right? I mean, Houston can score the football. There's no doubt about that, and OSU is going to allow them to score the football. I don't think that that's going to surprise anybody. This line is set at 58.5 as a total. And I think it might blow it out of the water. I think this game is one of those 42-35 type of games where Oklahoma State ends up winning it, but it's going to be one of those where I don't think either defense is going to be able to stop each other. I think it's just going to be a shootout. What are your thoughts on Dana Holgerson facing his former team that he worked for?
Sorry, what was the matchup? Oklahoma State and who was the
Houston.
Houston? Okay, yeah, I should have known that. I've been looking at that game all week. Um, I mean, my hope is that Houston comes out with a win because that basically guarantees OU in
OU
the Big
Texas,
12
yeah,
game, right?
yeah.
So, like, I want Houston to win. Do I think they will? Probably not. Do I think that OSU is the exact type of team to lose this game? Yes, I do.
Yes,
um,
absolutely.
they lost to South Alabama. Let's be honest.
Oh, that would be well. Granted, I hated
And
that
yeah,
loss
the
because they did
excuses.
they shouldn't have lost that game for multiple reasons. I think the three quarterback thing that he was doing. I mean, why? I think he like took that L. I think Gundy was like, I'm ready to take this L to figure out who
Gundy
my
could have been
quarterback is
playing
gonna be.
quarterback, and you shouldn't have
Yeah.
lost to South Alabama. Like
The South
Gundy could have been
Alabama's
back there taking
good. South
snaps.
Alabama's
Come
good. They're a
on,
good team.
come
They're a
on.
great Sun Belt team. Give them
They're a good
credit.
Sun Belt team. They are a great Sun Belt team. They would go 1-11 in a Power Five schedule.
Yeah.
Like
And that one win would be Oklahoma State.
exactly,
Yeah,
because Oklahoma State might as well. They need to get relegated down, as
and
far as I'm concerned.
and it wasn't like a Hail Mary loss. They got blown out like 34-7. They got
Yeah,
cooked. They got
yeah, that's
cooked.
not like
Well,
that.
and their
That's
basketball team's
embarrassing.
not doing great either. They lost to St. Bonaventure and Texas Abilene
What's his
Christian this year
name?
so far.
What's his name? Boynton or
Mike
whatever.
Boynton, yeah, Mike Boynton. I love him to
Get
death.
him out of there.
He's a great coach. I love him. I love him better than I like
Get him
Travis
out of there.
Ford. Better than I like Travis Ford. Um,
I'm not sold on Porter Moser yet, so I guess we can, but
I think both basketball sides of those schools are in kind of a purgatory kind of situation. Um, but yeah, no, I think a 6.5 point spread for Oklahoma State. I mean, get the job done. Just go to work. Get it done.
yeah.
Go beat meth head hair Dana Holgerson on their own turf, but I think it'll be a shootout. I mean, it just has all the makings to be just a 35-28, something like that, and I wouldn't be surprised at all. Here's a spread that's lower than that. Michigan minus 18.5 against Maryland in College Park on the road for the Wolverines. Give me the Wolverines minus 18.5. Maryland stinks.
Yeah, I agree with that. You got to take Michigan there because the only reason the line is what it is because they're thinking this sign stealing thing is going to really hurt Michigan's chance to win the game.
But
It's not.
yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's Maryland. It's not.
Like Harbaugh being on the sideline versus Harbaugh being in a Buffalo Wild Wings watching the game, no difference.
Hey, I'm with you. Let's meet him. I'm ready to go get some. I'm ready to go
I
get some.
saw a hilarious like TikTok video or something that you've probably seen him. That guy Joey Marino or whatever
Oh, the guy
that
that does the
does like
impressions.
the college
Yeah, I
football
know.
impressions.
Yeah, I know who you're talking
He
about.
did
Yeah.
one of Harbaugh watching the game at a bar. It was like, it's like, hey, what channel is the Michigan game on? He's like, I don't normally know these things.
Yeah, it's true.
Normally, I just kind of walk into the stadium and they take me there.
Yeah, I'm sure it's been weird for him, but no, I think they take care of business. I think the 18.5 point line. This is a 21 point win for Michigan, easy.
But
I,
let's talk about this Michigan thing real quick because
you want to talk about it now?
Harbaugh's
Okay.
now going to be out for 6 of the 12 games. I mean, like total, he's out for
Oh,
6 of the
okay. Yeah, yeah,
12,
yeah,
right? Because he
yeah,
missed the first three and he's going to miss the
yeah,
last three.
yeah,
So Michigan finishing 12-0, that's impressive.
yeah,
Beating Ohio State without Harbaugh, that'd be impressive.
yeah. And Harbaugh's gonna go coach the Chicago Bears. Have fun with that.
Yeah.
But yeah. I mean, I think this is definitely he's gone. I don't think Harbaugh's coming back. If he does, good for him. Good for him. I think if he does, it'll be no, next year. Will be the last year. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know
If
how.
he wins a natty, he'll come back.
Yeah, but we'll see what happens with that. Alabama plays Chattanooga today. There's no line for this game for obvious reasons, so I'm just gonna scroll past that.
Not even a line.
Yeah, no, you can't even get it on DraftKings or ESPN doesn't have one set
The
on here
line's
either. It's got
minus
yeah,
97.5.
it's got to be like minus 56. Like it's got to be something ridiculous. Yeah. But the thing is Chattanooga's got the better quarterback statistically. Okay, so you got to watch out.
I would take if the line was above 50, I would take Chattanooga to
Right,
cover
right.
that.
Exactly. Here's a line that's a squeaker. This is one that I am willing to take because I am confident. Louisville's traveling down to Miami Gardens in Florida at the Hard Rock Stadium to take on the Hurricanes. Louisville's a 1 point favorite. I'm taking Miami to beat them. I'm taking Miami to beat Louisville today. I am. I think Miami proved their worth. They only lost by 7 to Florida State. Give me the Hurricanes. Plus the points on the money line. Give me Miami to beat Louisville
I have
today.
a completely different view of Louisville. Now they had an ugly game. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. They had a horrible game against Pitt, but Louisville's gonna win the ACC.
Oh, oh. Well, if they do, then there goes my Florida State pick.
Yeah, I mean, I think Louisville beats Florida State in that ACC.
I don't.
Just don't shoot me. Don't shoot me.
No,
I'm
no,
just
no, no. Hey. Your opinion is your opinion. They're just gonna lose today, so it doesn't
so
matter.
if you're taking If you're taking Miami there,
You'll take the other side.
uh,
Okay, you'll take Louisville.
I'll take Louisville.
Okay,
I mean,
all
this
right.
is a game of who's going to win the game. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not
This
even
is this is
covering
yeah.
at this point.
This is just a pick 'em at this point. Um,
Yeah, so I'd be curious to see which one of us gets that one.
yeah, that'll be interesting. I think it'll be a good game. That one's will be going alongside the OU game, so I'll be having that one up as well. In the Foursquare YouTube TV
Put
box.
that one on the phone.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah. Um, Here's another game that probably shouldn't be competitive. Penn State minus 20.5 against Rutgers. At home in Beaver Stadium. I mean, Penn State should roll.
Give
I
me Rutgers. Give me
oh oh.
Rutgers. Give them to me.
All right,
I don't think they win
but
this
they
game, but I
cover.
think that
They
they
cover.
cover.
Yeah,
I think they cover.
yeah.
Rutgers is good. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about Rutgers, right? We're
I-
sickos, but these guys,
I'm opening up the schedule right now. Let's look at Rutgers and see these
these
losses.
guys
Okay,
are ready.
okay. 31-7 loss to Michigan. Understandable. It's Michigan.
Yeah.
24-13 loss to Wisconsin. It's rough, but it's on the road, so you're gonna have to take it. Back-to-back losses now. Currently, 35-16 to Ohio State. Understandable. 22-0 to Iowa. You cannot get shut out by Iowa, but that defense is kind of its gym, so I mean, I kind of understand. So tell me again why Rutgers covers this 20.5.
Because Penn State sucks.
All right, there we go. Okay, well, that's all. That's all the evidence I need. Moving on.
No, yeah, Penn State sucks. I don't think they win this game by 21. I just don't.
Yeah, I mean, look, I mean, I think, I mean, 20 would still be covering, so I think you're pretty
I
safe
thought
with.
the line was 20 and a half.
No, I'm saying if they only win by 20, you still win.
Oh,
I'm saying that's a
Yeah.
pretty good spot for you to be in because they haven't beat a lot of teams by 20 plus. So I mean, you know,
Exactly. And listen, Rutgers put up 16 against Ohio State.
that's true.
They'll put up 20. They'll put up 20 against Penn State.
Okay, I say this,
Do
but
we think Penn State gets 41 points? No.
yeah. So I feel better about my Michigan pick because Penn State destroyed Maryland 51 to 15. So I mean, Michigan should just slap around Maryland, I would think. Um,
Yeah.
but you know, like I said, I mean, you don't have a lot of games where Penn State's winning by 20 plus. They beat Northwestern by 20 plus, Iowa by 20 plus. Um, they beat Delaware by 20 plus. They beat West Virginia by 20 plus. They beat UMass by 20 plus, and Maryland by 20 plus, but they didn't beat Indiana by 20 plus, and they didn't beat Illinois by 20 plus. So I think that bodes well for you because I think Rutgers is probably in that Illinois, Indiana type range. So I think this game is gonna be a squeaker for Penn
That
State.
Rutgers pick is going to look so ugly on my sheet.
But hey, but you know what? I like the confidence. I like the
I
confidence.
mean, my sheet is looking interesting today
Oh well, wait.
already.
Oh, it's looking interesting. So so Utah and Arizona, right? This game is also a pick 'em. Arizona's a 1 point favorite here at home over
What?
Utah. Yeah, I mean it's a kind of a confusing line to me. I like Utah. I think they're a significantly better team than Arizona. But I can understand why the line is set like this because of the
No.
way
Utah
Arizona's.
wins.
I mean, they should. They should. You want to you want to take
Yeah, I want that.
you want that?
Yeah,
Okay,
that's an
okay.
easy pick. Utah should win that game by 14. That line should be Utah 13 and a half, straight up. I
Yeah,
don't understand that.
I mean, I don't know if DraftKings has something different. They have it as Arizona minus 1.5. They have an extra half a point towards Arizona. I
That's
don't know
crazy. What do they know?
Yeah, what do they know?
I mean, at the very least, Utah covers. Like, well, I mean,
how do
they
you
would have to win.
yeah, you'd have
They
to.
could cover 1.5 and still lose. But
Because we're using those lines, not using ESPN, so you could definitely cover the 1.5.
like, the only way Arizona wins is if it's like a last second field goal and would go up by one.
Yeah.
I don't see Utah losing this game. And if they do lose, it will be by 1 point. Like it's jeez.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
feel bad about this. That line feels like it feels fishy, and I
Yeah,
don't feel good about it
I-
now that I'm like, thinking about it.
Yeah,
But Utah should win that.
right. I agree. I was surprised to see that. Here's another line that is kind of low, in my opinion. Georgia minus 9.5 on the road against Tennessee. I mean, Tennessee
On
ain't
the road,
playing great. I don't know if
Bowers is back this week.
Yeah.
How much did the line shift when Bowers got announced? Do you know?
I don't know because I feel like he's I mean yeah minus 9.5 is what DraftKings has as well. I don't know if that line moved. Maybe it was 6.5 earlier this week and it moved 3 points or something like that. But I remember this line being extremely close to begin with, and I was kind of fishy about that too because I was like, they just got cooked by Missouri. Like I don't know if Tennessee's in a spot to take on Georgia
Well,
this
they're
week
mad.
mentally. I mean, and then again, Josh Heupel does kind of get up for these games, but I mean, Tennessee has not been playing very good. Let me see their
I mean,
schedule.
I
I
don't
mean, they
hate the Tennessee pick here. I'm not taking it. I don't hate it though.
yeah, I don't. I mean,
Like I'm always gonna ride with my boy Josh,
yeah,
but I don't hate the Tennessee pick. I have faith. I have faith in Josh to be able to pull that one off.
yeah.
I just don't have enough faith to put it on my sheet. But
Yeah, I'll put it on mine. I'll put Georgia covering on mine. I like Georgia
you in Georgia,
I like
yeah.
10 point win is probably what we're looking at here. 14. I
I
mean,
mean, it's realistically, it's probably like a 21 point
yeah,
win.
but I mean, confidence wise, at least I would feel comfortable taking Georgia.
Personally, would love to see Josh pull out a win
No,
there. I
no,
mean, that would
yeah,
shake
yeah,
up the
that would
playoff
it would
race
it
so
would
much.
it would.
That would shake things up and insanely shake things up. Bama's all of a sudden in the top four. I mean, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Did you see the? I wanted for later. I wanted you to make sure you saw the tweet that I sent you with all the chaotic hypothetical
Okay,
thing
yeah.
talking about Georgia losing. Kind of brought that up, but
Okay, yeah, send that to me. I'll look at that afterwards. Um
yeah,
here's a line that surprised me, and I think you'll be shocked too. Clemson favored by 8 points against North Carolina at home.
I don't.
I like the Tar Heels, baby.
I like the Tar Heels. I don't hate Clemson being favored here at home.
But eight,
What are the? Jeez, what are they? 5-4,
6-4 now. But yeah, I mean they're
six
six
and
and four,
four.
3-4 in the ACC. I just thought it was
Jeez,
shocking that they were favored at all. I mean, they're not even ranked. Like North Carolina's still a top
they
20,
shouldn't.
top
They
20
shouldn't be
team.
favored. I want the Tar Heels here.
Yeah, I mean that's I.
Give them to me. Give me the
Okay,
Tar
okay,
Heels here.
all right.
There's no way.
There's
Like
no,
there's no way
no, that's what
Clemson
I'm
wins
saying.
this
That's
game.
what I'm saying. I don't see it. Um,
Now, if they still had BV, sure,
yeah,
but you can't. The
yeah,
defense isn't going to be able to cover
no,
Drake May right now.
no, no. And Tez Walker's playing great too. I think they're in trouble. Ohio State's favored by 27.5 over Minnesota at home. I mean I like Minnesota to kind of cover the 27.5. They always play Ohio State tough, but not tough enough to like not lose by 21, but like tough enough to like not lose by 28. I just don't think Ohio State's offense is the Ohio State offense of the past, and I think that kind of helps Minnesota because they're not looking at like C.J. Stroud back there picking them apart. So I like Minnesota plus the 27.5 here. I don't think they win this game at all. I think Ohio State wins by 21 or 24, but 28 just seems like too much against Minnesota, who's a very competitive team.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that. 100%. I don't, if Ohio State were to lose a game that was not Michigan, this is the game.
Yeah, I mean, and that's all you can say because the rest of the schedule is just cakes. I mean, like other than the
Yeah.
Michigan game, but I mean, well, I'm obviously going to do that game next week because that'll be fantastic if both these teams end up winning, which they should. Florida State takes on North Alabama. There's no line for that game, shocker. So we'll just scroll past that one. And the thing is North Alabama could win this game, folks. This is a game that Florida State could possibly lose. The North Alabama, fighting Lions. They're looking good. They're 3-7 on the year. I mean, North Alabama looking great. They've lost to UT Martin, Eastern Kentucky, Abilene Christian, Austin Peay, Central Arkansas, Mercer, and Tarleton State. So this is the perfect time to take the Lions on the money line.
This
Let's go. I'm
would be
kidding.
insane.
Yeah, no, it's not gonna happen.
Let me make a bold prediction real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
This game's tied at halftime.
You know what? I would not be surprised. 7-7.5, and then Florida State just wins 35-7. There you go. There's your final
Let
score.
me let me actually give an even bolder prediction.
losing at half. 3-0.
This game is 7-3 North Alabama at half.
I would like it. I would like it.
Florida State has a tough time getting going.
And the best wide receiver on the field belongs to the Lions. So I
There we
mean,
go.
38 catches,
Strikeout game, 300-yard
635
game from that
yards.
receiver.
I mean, you're gonna need it.
Gonna need it.
Your defense couldn't stop Mercer. You're gonna need it. I mean, it's gonna be a blowout. Here's a
Yeah,
game
should
that
be.
I'm looking forward to. Kansas State and Kansas. Kansas State favored by 10 on the road in Lawrence. I like Kansas State here. I don't think Kansas is playing very well right now.
I like Kansas here.
All right, I'm willing to go. I'm willing to go against you with this.
You doing it?
I
You
yeah,
doing it?
I
Let's do
think
it.
I think Kansas State gets it done. I think 10 points is probably the right call too. I just don't think Kansas is up to the task. I think they've been playing okay. I just don't think that I think last week kind of really exposed their offense as not as good as it needed to be. I mean, you only put 14 points up against Texas Tech. Not going to be any easier going against the Wildcats, but it is a rivalry game, so I expect them to score more points. I expect this to be back and
That's
forth.
why I think it's going to be close. It's just because it's a rivalry. I think this
Yeah,
is. I think Kansas State wins the game. I just think that Kansas
covers the
loses
10.
by 3.
Yeah, okay.
You know,
I mean, I don't hate it. Here's a game that'll surprise you. I'll be doing this game tonight. Washington on the road in Corvallis. They're 1-point underdogs. It's the Beavers -1 right now. How you feeling about the Beavers?
I like the Beavers. I like the Beavers here. I like them big. Ewan Delaney is going to go crazy. That's how I feel.
I mean,
I think he throws for 400.
okay, I like it. I like that.
Washington doesn't have the defense.
I mean, they
Not that
don't.
Oregon State does,
Yeah,
but
they don't
like,
either. But I mean, the over under here is 62.5. They think this is going to
oh
be
my god,
a just absolute barn burner, and I don't disagree. Like you said, I think that both of these offenses are very good.
after last week, I'll give you the score right now: 42-21, Oregon State.
Woo! All right. Now, I mean, I think I'm going to take Washington to beat them. I think that this is a perfect spot for Penix to try to get back on track. And I
Back in the
think
Heisman race.
yeah, and more to build up the matchup between Bo Nix for the rematch. I think now it's about just trying to get yourself to that game to solidify yourself as the alpha in the conference. And I think that you know this is a big step. And I think Oregon State is. I mean, night games in Corvallis are scary, and I think that this line, this -1, Oregon State -1. I mean, pick them between these two teams seems wrong to me. I really do think Washington should probably be favored regardless, but I mean, I think they just think that home field advantage is going to be just crazy because it's going to be packed to the brim. I mean, those are some frothy, foaming at the mouth fans up there in Corvallis. And the turnover chainsaw will come out once, maybe twice. We're going to see the chainsaw at least twice. I think
Yeah,
it's definitely going to happen. So I think that place is going to be bananas crazy. It'll be a fantastic game, and I can't wait to call that game tonight. It'll be fantastic, I think. Another game that's going to be going on around the same time, Missouri -11 against Florida at home. I kind of like the Gators. I like my Graham Mertz and the Gators, brother.
I
I mean,
like the Gators.
I mean, I, I just because of the way that they played against you know good competition. I think that, and I think Missouri is just at that point where they just need to crap the bed already. I mean, I mean, look
But
at the.
will they?
I mean, because
I mean, we think they will.
I mean, Florida's on a 3-game losing streak. I understand that. Their signature win is technically Tennessee. I understand that as well. And they have Florida State the following week after that. So they've got stuff to look forward to. They just lost to LSU 52-35. They lost to Arkansas by 3, and they lost to Georgia by 23. So Florida fans are kind of looking for a solid win. I think today is the day. I think today is the day. Give me the Gators +11. Put it on there.
Um, I don't know. I had the wrong idea on the schedule. I thought Missouri had already played Florida. That was LSU that they had already played,
Yeah,
not Florida.
yeah.
Um, Hmm. This one's tough.
It is.
This is a tough one. I mean, you have a Missouri team that is coming off a really good win. Um, Motivation is up there. I don't think this is the week. I think Missouri wins this week.
Hmm.
I think next week is the week.
Who are they playing next week?
I think Arkansas.
You,
Arkansas.
you like Arkansas as the better spoiler than yeah, it is Arkansas. You're
Yeah,
right. And that's a
I think
and
it's
that's
Arkansas.
and that's a Friday game. That's a Friday after Thanksgiving
Is
game,
it?
the
Oh yeah, it
24th.
probably is a Black Friday game. Yeah,
So I
that's
mean,
the same day as the OU TCU game.
yeah. So I mean, that'll be a good day for some sports ball. Um, Texas minus 7.5 against Iowa State on the road. Let me guess, you're picking the Cyclones.
I already told you I'm picking the Cyclones here. I think that they win. 7.5
Yeah,
is the spread.
Texas minus 7.5.
Yeah, yeah. Iowa State covers at the very least. I
I like
think Iowa State wins this game by 7.
I like
So
the
14 and a
horns.
half point swing.
I like the horns.
Hey, put those down. We don't do that here.
Um, I like the horns. I think they win by 10. I just think Iowa State's fraudulent. I just don't like them. I don't like anything about Iowa State. Not this season.
I'm stealing a final score prediction from
Okay.
someone I saw on Twitter.
Okay.
38-30.
Iowa State.
Yep.
I'm gonna go 42-10 Texas. I think they just kill them. I think they just kill them.
Hey, that's fair.
I think
Are
it's
we
over.
taking opposite sides on this one? That makes 3 games. I think we're
Yeah,
taking
I mean,
opposite sides on.
I
That's
just
exciting.
I just think Texas just I mean this is not the Iowa State team that like is built to do this. Like it's just not. Like I just don't know why people are putting so much stock in them this week. Like I would think Texas Tech would have a better chance of beating them than Iowa State does. I mean, I don't
It's
even
in
think
Ames. It's
yeah, I mean it's a night game in Ames. I don't know. I mean, I just
this is where Texas falls apart. This is where it happens. They've had 2 weeks of skirting by. 2 weeks of skirting by. This is the week they fall apart.
I mean, I want to believe you because, like I said, I don't like Texas. I don't. I like literally
And if
don't like
Texas
them.
loses, I think OU's in the Big
I mean,
12.
this Iowa State team lost to Ohio and Iowa. Like, I mean, this is not the team. Like I mean, I
Texas would
just.
lose to Iowa.
I mean, you sure about that? I mean, I don't know. I mean, Ohio though, like that was such a bad loss too. That was so bad. I mean, okay, Iowa State beat TCU by 13. Okay, I mean that means that technically, if you're using that law of like, they should be better than TCU, then they probably could beat them. They beat Cincinnati by 20. They beat Baylor by 12. You lose to Kansas by 7. You beat BYU by 32 points. I mean, that's why OU's just probably gonna smoke BYU. I mean, Iowa State beat them at their home, beat BYU at home by 32. I mean, if OU doesn't win this game, the season is trash. I mean, like I'm just saying, like your season is garbage if you
Yeah,
don't win this game by 20.
ten
If you don't
wins.
cover
10 wins
this
is my
game is
floor.
yeah
So
this if you don't cover this spread, this is a garbage performance for you guys. Um, here's
yeah,
a they actually put a line for this game. This is the last top 25 game of the weekend. LSU minus 32 against Georgia State. Georgia State's no slouch. I don't
give me
know. I
give
don't
me GSU.
right. Like I just don't. I think Georgia State is a decent team. I mean, they lost to Troy by 21. They're on a 3-game skid right now. They lost back-to-back games to Appalachian State and James Madison with identical scores of 42-14.
Okay, but those are good teams.
I mean, James
That's
Madison's
game of the week right
undefeated.
now.
Yeah. I mean,
Game of the week is JMU versus App State.
which probably rightfully should be so.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, I mean,
JMU. That's a
32.
that's an undefeated team. Jeez.
Well, and the thing is like even their worst losses haven't been by that much. I mean,
There you go.
I don't hate the JSU pick here. I really don't.
You play Georgia every year, pretty much. You're gonna get better. So
Yeah. So and they've got the best running back on the field. Carroll, their running back, is over 1,200 yards and 12 touchdowns this season for the Panthers. So,
exactly.
Georgia State's got a running game. LSU's defense is not, elite. So that that could definitely be like a 25-point win for LSU, and I think you would take that. So that's pretty good. That's pretty good stuff this week. So we'll get those picks set in, and we'll get all that stuff set up. Let's talk about the Michigan thing, right? So Michigan, they're having that sign stealing thing. Like you said, I mean, I think that the Big Ten punishing Harbaugh is probably the most you should probably do. I don't hate the fact that he's missing these last 3 games because, again, these are all winnable games that shouldn't really matter. Me and you could probably coach Michigan these last 3 games and we probably would come out with W's. So
You boys go out there and play.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. I mean,
Y'all listen to your position coaches.
Yeah. Get in your groups, get in your position groups, and just roll
Get in
it.
your groups, boys. I'm gonna hype y'all up. That halftime speech, I'm not gonna say anything about football, but it's gonna be electric. It's gonna be electric.
Yeah, that's probably it. Now you go out there and you cover that spread. God damn it! I mean,
God damn it! I had y'all covering this spread.
I need 45 more passing yards from you, JJ. God damn it! Yeah, no, that's probably as much as needs to be said. I mean, I think it's it's a situation. I don't really. It's one of those things we talked about this earlier, where it's like you just took that extra step you didn't need to, right? Like every team does it. A lot of teams do it. You just took the extra step of paying for somebody else to buy tickets to go film sidelines and get other angles of stuff that you couldn't get with traditional film, and you got caught. And it's one of those things where you didn't need to do it. I see why you did it, because obviously, yes, it does give you a little bit of an edge, because if you can't cover,
you're not cheating, you're not trying.
Yeah, I mean,
everybody knows you're not cheating, you're not trying.
Yeah, I'm a Bill Belichick guy. Spygate's a thing. We get it. I mean, it's if they didn't do it, he's the greatest ever. I mean, and
I'm all about playing the game. It's a game. Every part of it's a game.
Yeah.
If you can get away with it, do it.
Yeah.
Astros, I don't care.
Yeah, like
Have fun.
after Nick Saban
steal some signs.
Yeah, after Nick Saban retires and we find out that like every Alabama team's been just plugged with PEDs for the last 20 years, I'm not gonna be surprised. I mean, it's just I saw Derrick Henry. He was yoked. Derrick Henry was yoked. I mean,
I would be happy if that happened. Then I could be like, well, you beat them when they were on PEDs. So screw it.
McElroy ain't taking no PEDs. He was like, I've already got a hot girlfriend. I don't need to be yoked.
I will say this about the sign stealing. Michigan pulled out that sometime they were supposed to, because the Big Ten was ready to do a full investigation. The Big Ten was ready to do some real punishment, and Michigan basically backed down and was like, okay, you know what? We'll just take the 3 games.
Yeah.
We'll take the 3.
Didn't fight him.
And I think that was the smart move.
Yeah.
Like, sure, that Ohio State game's going to hurt without Harbaugh. It's going to hurt. Like, you're going to want Harbaugh there.
Yeah.
Harbaugh being there, it's not even just like a coaching thing, because I think their OC and DC can do just fine.
Can he even be in the stadium?
He can't be in the stadium.
So he's going to be tailgating. Okay.
Yeah, he'll be outside the stadium, right? Or maybe he'll be home. Maybe he'll just be home watching it in his office. I mean, that's realistic.
Yeah, it is.
I don't think he's allowed to have any communication with the coaching staff.
I don't think so either. Yeah.
So we'll see what happens there. Maybe there's there's a little scenario.
He'll send a PowerPoint via email. He'll send the PowerPoint via email and give him some slides to look at, and hopefully Sharon Moore and company can get it done.
I think that if Michigan were to try to take this further, we'd have a postseason ban.
No, absolutely.
So I'm glad that Michigan stayed out of it, because I want to see them in the postseason. Not like, obviously Michigan getting knocked out would be huge for a bunch of other teams, but I mean, I want to see Michigan in there. I think Michigan's going to finish the year number 1. So once they beat Ohio State, they'll shoot up to number 1. I think that's pretty. I don't know. Maybe they don't. Maybe Georgia stays there, but we'll see.
Yeah, we will see for sure. All right, it's time for Who is Drinking All the Kool-Aid, baby. Let's get it on.
You want some Kool-Aid?
Man, you know I want some Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
Show the love, bub, drink the Kool-Aid. It ain't the end, baby, it's a new day. Future so bright, I bought some new shades. Toast that, bottoms up, drink the Kool-Aid.
And here is your Kool-Aid tweet of the week. It comes from @RyanCoronado95. Arch Manning need to hit the transfer portal and go to OU. Your thoughts on whether or not OU even needs to entertain this at all, and is this man just absolutely out of his mind? And this is an OU fan, by the way.
Yeah.
Hover over this. This is an OU fan from Ardmore.
let's take let's take the whole story into account, right? So the idea is that Quinn Ewers announced he was staying another year.
Hmm.
So we'll see Quinn Ewers in the SEC. That prompted OU fans to think that Dylan Gabriel's probably going to stay because he does have one more year, which is outrageous, but he has one more year. Um, he could stay, and I don't think that I don't know. He very well could. Like he might as well. Like I don't know if he's going to make any money trying to do. He'll be an unsigned or undrafted like sign probably for an NFL team if he were to declare. I think he can make more money as an OU quarterback. So I don't know. I don't know what Dylan Gabriel does. Whether or not Dylan Gabriel stays or he goes, I don't think Jackson Arnold leaves because I think he's in a great position to be able to, get some quality wins and boost his draft resume even more than if he were to transfer somewhere like. I mean, I would think that he would transfer to maybe like Michigan or maybe Alabama. I don't know, but he realistically could go anywhere he wanted to. Um, I don't think he transfers. If he does, if Jackson Arnold is like, I wanted to play this year, Dylan Gabriel's coming back, I'm transferring. I don't. I don't want Arch Manning. I don't. Do I think that he could be a decent backup? I don't know. Like Jackson Arnold is the better player than Arch Manning. I think everybody knows that. And I think everybody knows that Jackson Arnold is currently the best backup quarterback in college football. I don't think that that's a secret. I think everybody knows that the second Jackson Arnold is starting, that team is a contender. Because I think everybody realizes how good this kid is. I mean, the first time he came in to play college football snaps, he went 11 of 11 and like a touchdown. This guy is good. I don't think that Arch Manning comes to OU, even if he does transfer. Everybody knows if Arch Manning transfers, he's going to one of two places: Ole Miss or Tennessee. Everybody knows it. He's going to one of those two places if he does transfer, which I think he might. I really think Arch Manning could transfer. I don't think Jackson Arnold transfers. I think Arch Manning almost definitely transfers. I think we see him playing for Ole Miss or we see him playing for Tennessee. That's and has everything to do with the fact that his last name is Manning. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I think that was spoken very well. And there you go. There's your Who's Drinking All the Kool-Aid and Why, presented by Kool-Aid. That's right, Kool-Aid. All right.
We're
So,
sponsored.
yeah, we're sponsored now. All right. So that kind of wraps up the show for the most part. Let's go right through your picks one more time. So right now, folks, we're down to the nitty-gritty. I'm down to my last $15. So I'm betting 250. I'm betting 250 per game. Zach's down to $1.08 total. So he's betting 18 cents per game
I
right
really
now.
need that parlay to hit.
Yeah, we are
I've
yearning.
been sitting with like around $1 for the whole season.
Yeah, I mean, hey, which is good. You haven't gone negative yet. I'm on the verge. I hit one, and already it's fizzled away.
Yeah.
So you have Oklahoma minus 25. What are the other ones again that you have? You have Utah plus the 1.5, I believe.
Yeah.
So
I had Rutgers.
Rutgers, yeah,
Um,
Rutgers plus the points. Let me go ahead and add that.
Iowa State.
There you go, Iowa State. Get this
Um,
Rutgers game.
I had the Tar Heels against Clemson.
Is Rutgers? Is that
I know
a?
that we went opposite ways on like 3 of them. So
Yeah, we did. So where is Rutgers? Is playing Ohio State, right? Can I not find? Time is that? Oh, there. No, that's Minnesota. Minnesota plus 28. I'm looking for the Michigan game. That's what I'm looking for.
they're bringing out the footlong donuts at the BYU game.
That's right, baby. Bring out the footlongs, baby. There it is. No, Michigan's playing Maryland. Who's playing Rutgers? Is it Penn State? That's who's playing Rutgers. God, I'm so terrible at this. I'm looking for Penn State. Penn State, where are you? I don't even see it on here. What the fuck is this shit? Hello?
Ugh.
I can't find the Penn State Rutgers game on here. Am I just tripping? I don't see it on DraftKings. I got your North Carolina on here. Let's put that on there. Got your Iowa State down here as well. That's 18 cents on that. We got two more. Did you pick Oregon State?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so that's one. And then the other one was the Rutgers one. Why can I not find the Rutgers line on here? Is it not on there? Can you see it?
Oh my god. It was like, wasn't it 25?
Yeah, but I can't I can't find it on DraftKings like at all. Like
Oh.
I don't see the Penn State Rutgers line even on here, which is weird.
Let's see what I can find.
Michigan, Maryland, IU. State Rutgers.
I'm seeing 20.5. I'm not seeing the DraftKings one though.
That's what I'm saying. Like, why do they not have it?
They should. Well, I mean, I guess we could just go off the other lines, 20.5.
Is that
Let's see.
like that's weird to me. Why would they not have that?
Maybe another website posted it. Oh wait, here we go. Maybe I got it. Yeah, it's not on there. That's weird.
Well, you want to just pick another game? Just pick
Yeah,
another
let me
game.
just pick another.
So
Let's see. Let me go through here. Let's see. So I picked.
Oh, did
I
you
picked
want to pick? Did you
Louisville.
want to pick Minnesota plus the 28?
No.
Okay.
I did pick Louisville. I don't know if you got that down.
Oh no, that would be that'd be your last one if you picked Louisville. Where is that at?
Yeah, I picked Louisville. I remember.
Okay, so that
was
would
the
be
1
six
point.
then. That would be six. So
Because remember, we picked the other side. We picked Miami or Louisville.
So let's do that then. We'll just do Louisville as the last one.
So what does that make my sits?
You got Oklahoma minus 25, Utah plus 1.5, North Carolina plus 7.5, Iowa State plus 7, Oregon State plus 1, and you will have Louisville minus a point. I believe is going to be that one is an early kickoff.
Well, there we go.
That'll be up here.
We got kickoff here in 15 minutes.
Yep, there it is. Louisville minus the 1. And so your parlay right now is looking like. Come on. You have $1.08. $51 would be your winnings. If you hit this parlay, $51.
Hey, we back up.
Yeah, you need it. So there you go. There's Zach's picks. I'll release mine in the image along with it.
Let's end this with a great tweet from earlier in the season, September 15th, in which FanDuel Sportsbook put out a tweet that said, "Where would you set the line? 2023 Colorado versus 2019 LSU?"
LSU minus 42.
I think the line would be even crazier than that, and I agree with this other tweet that says the line would be LSU minus 62.5.
62? I mean,
I think that's an accurate line for that game. Come on now. 2019 LSU, they're the best team. They're the best. I mean, maybe you disagree with this, but they're the best college football team of all time. And we're talking 2019 LSU versus this year's Colorado. Come on now.
I mean,
this is the team that scored eight
give me
first half
Colorado
touchdowns
plus
against OU.
the points. Any line, give me Colorado plus the points. Colorado,
That's
give
crazy.
me
Joe Burrow had 8 touchdowns against OU.
Give me Colorado on the money line. give me Colorado on the money line. This is the greatest upset of all time.
Jeez.
No,
All right.
that's a disease. All right. I will see you for episode number 52. I won't see you for Thanksgiving, so have a good Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
We'll try to get together probably if you can before that, maybe Tuesday or Wednesday.
Probably can.
Um,
I'm off
um,
Wednesday.
all right,
So
let's plan
maybe we
on
do that.
Wednesday. Let's plan on Wednesday night getting together. For everybody else out there that's enjoying a Thanksgiving, enjoy it. Enjoy the football. Enjoy the food. Zach, any final words before we get out of here for episode 51?
I mean, 13 minutes away here. Boomer Sooner.
You heard it, Boomer Sooner, and go Ducks. And we'll see you at episode 42. And remember, keep stick on the ice.
You